These are the minor seventh sounds, the chords on the 1, 3, 5, 6 string family in A. We'll start out with a traditional A minor 7, A, E, C, and G. Moving across the guitar, we have A, E, D, and B. If we move the top voice to C, also we can make a more of a stretched voicing from this. A, E, C, and G. We exchange the C and the D for each other. If we move this chord down to G, D, C, and A, we can exchange the voices, the outer voices. So the G's and A's exchange. A, D, C, and G. We can move that ahead to B, E, D, and A. And of course that brings us into C major sounds. C, F sharp, D, and A. Also C, F sharp, E, and B. And that'll sound like a minor 6 if we take the A, the B to A from that voicing. Now, moving on to B, more traditional C major sound. B, G, E, and C. Exchange voices. The outer voices, C, G, E, and B. Leave off the E to D. Also just going right across the guitar, C, F sharp, E, and D. We can make it G and D, like that. Getting more into a traditional C major sound. What's interesting here too is if you took this C major, C, G, E, and D, and you just exchange both voices, in the outer voice you get this sort of 11th chord sound. That's sort of a C over D, D, G, E, C, and that can be moved down to the A, right in this area that we were looking at earlier. D, A, G, and E can move to F sharp. And then if we plane that chord up, move it up, E, B, A, and F sharp to G, like this. Just like was available in the G to the A, so it's available in the D and the E. Same exact relationship in terms of moving the chords by fifths. Again, this is the fifths relationship that we were talking about earlier. From here on the E, we now have an E, C, A, and G. So that's a nice sort of minor 7th chord sound on A minor. Now if we exchange the voices, the outer voices, we have G, C, A, and E, which works nicely too. And we can move the top voice and we can plane that sort of a voicing too. And those lend themselves well to planing. B, E, C, and G, B, E, C, and A. And you see it has that A minor sort of sound at the heart of it. So each one of those. Okay. Also, we can exchange the A and G on this one. So instead of A and G, it's G and A, and we have E, C, G, and A. Moving back up, we can move up an octave back to our G, D, C, and A. Also, we have A, E, B, and C, and we can exchange those to A, E, C, and B. So that will give us the A minor sound. Also, going back to a C major, really like an A minor with a ninth, E, C, B, and A. And we can move the lower voice up to G. So kind of related to these sort of planed voicings. And that's a traditional A minor 7, A, C, B, and G. And we can move the top voice to an A minor 6. So that gives us this sort of a sound. So A, C, B, and G, A, C, B, and F sharp. If you exchange voices, you have an F sharp minor 7 flat 5, but with an 11th. So you have that kind of a sound. And if we move that type of voicing up, we have G, E, C, and B. Maybe the top voice goes to A. And that can move up by the 5th. So that can move on to D. D, B, G, and E. Top voice can move to F sharp, and we can see how it relates to this chord, etc. So it's easily relatable from there. The closed voicings, again, sort of the cluster voicings, are available on C major, like this, B, C, D, and G. So that has that sort of A minor sound. You can hear it has the basic sound of the A minor at it because it sounds like a C major type chord. Of course, you can move that to F sharp. So sort of playing off the E minor aspect of it a little more. Playing off the fifth a bit. But that should give you a good idea as to the potential of this sort of string family, the 1, 3, 5, 6 for the minor chords on A, the minor seventh type chords, based on the 1, 3, 5, 6 string family.